And we ask that you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the singing of our national anthem by Miss Carla Smith. Following the national anthem will be our invocation by our show of support pastor, Pastor Roy Smith.
Carrie, colors, forward, march.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs were bursting in the air. They gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Woo!
Would you take a moment and bow your head with me, please? Father, sometimes as it's true probably that most of us go to church. This is not the first time we've prayed, but sometimes there is a need just to pause, have a moment of thanksgiving. And we do that in this occasion for these that we have brought to our city, those that live in the city, that we are honoring tonight. When they have to come out to a place like this, and not always do they want to smile and laugh and have fun. The scars of battle in many cases have wounded their minds and their heart. Sometimes in the silence of the night, they find the loudest moments. Sometimes it feels that they cannot come fast enough when they struggle with depression and anxieties and all of these demons that they fight. There are not many who understand, who can understand, for they haven't worn their shoes. The wives husbands that fight alongside of them not in the uniform, but they hold them when they hurt. They talk to them when they're in pain. They hold the families together when it seems that all is falling apart. Thank you for your mercies over their lives.
Thank you.
Thank you for keeping them. Thank you for giving us the honor in Midland, Texas, to honor them tonight. And may what happened here the rest of this evening and this week never be forgotten as an act of love, where we lay down our moments for theirs. Thank you for the privilege. Bless our time. Bless the food that we will share, the friendships that we will build, and the graces that have been provided by your mercy. And we ask it all in the precious name of our Lord Jesus. Amen. God bless you.
Right. Face. Forward. March.
I'm just going to take a quick second. I want to thank Roy Gillen with the Barn Door for what he does out here for us here in just a second, him and his whole crew. At this time, we will break now and go have our meal. He's asked that, if you will, go to the north end of his lines and work this way, working south. So you're free to exit through any of these doors that you are comfortable doing. If you'll do that, be back here in just a little bit. We'll start the program. Thank y'all so much for being here. That's a combination of the Odessa Fire Rescue, Lubbock Pop and Drum, and the Fort Worth Pop and Drum. You'll hear another version of another deal from them here later in the evening. Great job, guys. If you will, bear with me. I'm going to pull something I didn't mean to do, but I just thought about it.
Midland County Judge Terry Johnson. Thank you, Terry. Thank you.
That was a real president. That was when we had a president. If you want things to change, you got to stand up and do it. I would like to introduce real quick somebody who I don't normally do this, but it's very important that we do something like this. We've got a guy who this president did throw his support behind for real. Kevin Sparks, would you stand up, please? I'd like for people to... Kevin's running for state senator. Please think about supporting him and his efforts. This is our 17th annual event. It would have been 18th, but like most events, we had to set out last year. About July, we made the call last year. COVID was spiking. First of the year, we geared up, got ready to do this year. And about July again, if we didn't think, it may not happen again. But we decided to press forward and continue on. We could always call it off. And as it turned out, COVID has taken a different direction now. So we're able to do this. I appreciate everybody being here. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the support of this event. You've made this event. I say it over and over. I'm not just being humble. Midland, Texas, Permian Basin, West Texas has made this event what it is. You truly are patriots, and you know how to show the folks that we bring in. I'm big into tradition. Hunting has a lot of traditions, and Show of Support has developed a lot of its own traditions. We had 20 couples selected last year. 2 of them have been deployed since last year's event. So we stayed with the 18 that we had selected already, and we stayed with that core. So we have 18 people here, or we had 18 people arrive in Midland, and you'll see it later if I don't skip over it. One of our couples, when they landed in Midland just about lunch, the first phone message he got was his father had just died. So literally within a couple hours, we had them back on a plane to Ohio, and we really hope to have them back out here next year. But I would ask for your thoughts and your prayers for he and his family and what they have to deal with right now. I could go on and on and on. I'm so proud of this event. I'm so proud we're back at it. We are. We're back. We changed the day. There's a lot of different reasons why, and we changed locations, and it's turned out to be a good deal. We headquarter across the street, and we do 2 events over on this other side anyway. It just made sense to do everything in one spot. We don't have to logistically move stuff all over town. So this has worked out great. I'm liking how it goes. If you see a few bugs or glitches in tonight's deal, we're working through it, but I think we're going to do great. I'm really looking forward to it. So at this time, I've got a video that I would like to play. I'd like everybody to watch.
Am I the only one here tonight? Shaking my head and thinking something ain't right. Is it just me? Am I losing my mind? Am I standing on the edge of the end of time? Am I the only one? Tell me I'm not. Who thinks of taking all the good we got and turning it bad? Hell, I'll be damned. I think I'm turning into my old man. Am I the only one willing to bleed or take a bullet for being free? Screaming, what the hell am I TV for telling me? Yeah, you're telling me that I'm the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white. town near you, watching the threads of old glory come undone. Am I the only one not brainwashed, making my way through the land of the lost, who sees it as it is and worries about his kids as they try to undo all the things he did? Am I the only one who can't take no more screaming? If you don't like it, there's a frickin' door. This ain't the freedom we've been fighting for. It was something more, yeah, it was something more. Am I the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue? Burning on the ground, another statue coming down in a town near you, watching the threads of old glory come undone. Not the only one. I can't be the only one. Am I the only one who quit singing along every time they play a Springsteen song? Am I the only one sitting here, still holding on, holding back my tears for the ones who paid with the lives they gave? God bless the USA. I'm not the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue. Burning on the ground, another statue coming down in a town near you, watching the threads of old glory come undone. I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one.
And with your support, I'm not the only one. Across Midland, there's tens of thousands of us. Across the state, there's millions of us. And across this nation, there are tens of millions of us. It's time to put this country back in the hands of the adults. And again, I mentioned traditions. One of the traditions that we had, we lost a couple years ago, and we had a video prepared for last year to honor and remember this man, this family. I would like to, at this time, go ahead and play a video, and then at the conclusion, I'm going to ask that Modesta please come to the front, and we've got a small presentation we'd like to make. So if you would, please watch this short video.
Federal officials are now heading to Texas to join investigators probing why a freight train slammed right into a parade float carrying wounded veterans.
November 15th, 2012 was absolutely the most tragic event in the history of Midland, Texas. 2 weeks later, I found myself in a deer camp hosted by Clayton Williams with 4 veterans who had been injured in the global war on terror. That night, after we gave them their rifles and their hunting gear, Clayton took me by the arm and carried me out into the dark and knew I was having trouble with what had happened 2 weeks previous. And he started the process of talking to me how I need to keep doing this, and his words of encouragement were very uplifting, but he equated the experience that we, myself included, had been through as the same experience that he dealt with when his plane during his gubernatorial candidacy, when it crashed, killing his top men in his company. I remember his genuine concern for me being able to deal with what I had to deal with, and had it not been for that man and that night at his ranch around a campfire, Show of Support wouldn't be where it is today, and we wouldn't be sitting in this room tonight.
His rifle sponsor is Clayton Williams Energy. Presenter is Mr. Clayton Williams and Modesta.
Every year since we started Show of Support, Clayton Williams has been there supporting what we do, and he's been up on the stage presenting a rifle to a hero.
His rifle sponsor is Clayton Williams.
Each year was more of a struggle to get up on the stage than the year before. The last year he presented a rifle, it was a very difficult process for him to get up there. But he did it. Please know that the spirit of Clayton Williams exists in all of us here, and we truly, genuinely want to say thank you for everything you've done. Modesta, if we could, a very genuine and special Texas icon was Clayton Williams, and a very big part of Show of Support, and we miss him. But again, his spirit will always be here. And we welcome you here. Thank you for letting me do this. I don't mean to scratch the scab of what happened 9 years ago here yesterday, but there's times we have to, or there's times I have to revisit it. And missing Clayton was one of them. We did a memorial to it. We built a memorial, and I went to Clayton and asked him, because he had such a big place out there at Claydesta, if he had a small place that I could look at to possibly buy. He let me know real quick there wasn't anything out there for sale to me, which kind of took me by surprise. I thought he would be for this. What he did say is you can have whatever you want out here. That's what he meant it. We picked a small little spot, and we built our memorial. I'm going to tell you a real quick story. Do we have the honor guard? Okay, yeah. About that night, again, I don't mean to scratch the scab, but that night, 2 floats, we lost 4 men. I had asked our group here tonight, I'd asked them yesterday, how many of them were medics? If you would raise your hands. I think I know the answer. We have no medics in this group. Normally, we have maybe 1. That particular year, God put 7 medics on those floats. And I believe that's the reason we didn't have any more issues than we had, because those guys snapped to attention the minute crisis hit and took over and dealt with what needed to be dealt with. One of the guys who wasn't a medic ended up gathering the 4 flags on each float. There was one on each corner of the float. He grabbed those flags and he covered his fallen brothers with those 8 flags. And at the proper time, he retrieved those flags, took them off in the dark by himself till wee hours of the morning, folded them up, called me while I'm in my motel room asking, can he bring me something? And I'm telling him, you sure can. So he brought it, and he tells me why he did what he did, and that's his story to tell. I won't tell it. But what he had done is he'd brought me those 8 flags folded neatly, and he asked me to promise him that I would give each widow one of those flags. My wife and I did that. We took one of those flags yesterday and we raised it at our memorial at Claydesta. The honor guard went out, raised it, and then this morning when we took our guys and gals out there, we retrieved that flag and raised a new one. At this time, I would like to, in all sincerity and humbleness, present this flag to Modesta in memory of everything your family does. And you're going to notice that one person's not here that's normally here that is part of our tradition. That's Major General Bob Hollingsworth. He has COVID. He was in the hospital for about 10 days, just got out, I believe, the day before yesterday. He's in Colorado, so he's not able to make it, so you're going to have to see more of me here in a little bit. But at this time, I want to introduce you to an up-and-comer. As this thing ages and as I get older, we need some new people taking over. And I'm proud and honored to introduce Chris Smith. The Smith family has been supportive of our event literally since day one. And I look forward to many, many more years and everything you guys do. I can't thank you enough for what you do. So at this time, we're going to ask Chris to come up, and he's got the next part of the program. So if you would, please welcome Chris Smith.
I want to thank everyone for being here, and it's awesome year after year to see the solid support, consistent support that we get in the Permian Basin. Thank you all very much for being here. Tonight we want to take the time to acknowledge each war and the veterans that played a huge role in each war. I'd like to start with World War II. 16 million brave, honorable Americans served in World War II. In total, more than 70 million soldiers fought in World War II from all nations involved. Currently, 240,329 of the 16 million Americans that served in World War II are still alive as of this year. It is estimated that 234 World War veterans are dying every day. This group has always been known as the greatest generation. I think we all would agree that it's safe to say that they have always lived up to that reputation of being the greatest generation. Are there any World War II veterans here tonight? If so, please stand so we can honor and recognize you. All right. We'll move on to the Korean War. Approximately 1.7 million Americans served in the Korean War, which ended 5 years after World War II. Of those, 34,000 brave Americans lost their life fighting for our great country known as the Korean War. Do we have any Korean War veterans here tonight? Okay. Back to World War II, the greatest generation, who has always carried the role model and leadership role of parents and grandparents of the next two groups that we're going to recognize later tonight. I know that both groups learned how to work hard, show up early, and never quit standing up and fighting for this great country. I know they are also proud to see some of their great morals, values, and godly practices passed on to multiple generations below them. Move on to the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War lasted from 1954 to 1975. More than 2.5 million Americans served throughout this time. Unfortunately, this group never had a reception worthy to honor their sacrifices on and off the battlefields. These men and women so rightfully deserved. We all know that the men and women that served our country during this conflict deserve so much better. With our deepest appreciation, we must allow this congregation to remember their sacrifices tonight. We wish to honor and recognize and thank you. Would you please stand if we have any Vietnam vets here tonight? Thank you very much for your service. Moving on to a big one, the global war on terror. The battlefields have changed and are no longer fought on some remote island in the South Pacific or some trench in northern France. From Normandy to the Desert Shield and continuing today, regardless of what is going on throughout these administrations. With the current evolution of the global war on terrorism, we must consider that our constitutional freedoms must be protected at all costs against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Throughout our nation's history, we have provided generations of young men willing to fight for the freedoms that they believe in, and we will continue to do so when there is a call to bear arms. We have some of the bravest men and women in uniform, and without their sacrifices and dedication to our democracy, we salute you tonight. Please stand and be recognized. Thank you very much for your service. Just to show how the military service has impacted so many families, if you or anyone in your family, even extended family, has served our country, would you please stand and let us honor you tonight? This has always been one of my favorite parts of the banquet. I can remember, just like what we looked at earlier, seeing my granddad, a World War II vet, struggle to make it in. It was a full-time job for him just to get to his truck every day and make around, as he would call it, at work. But to see him struggle and come to this event and to see him stand when his song was played, I'll never forget it. And it's always an honor every year to get to see this part of the banquet. The service songs. We want to recognize all our veterans and their branches of service. The bagpipes are going to play the service song of all 5 branches of the U.S. Armed Forces. When you hear your service song, please stand and remain standing for the duration of your song. Then be seated for the next song. Man, I love that. That's good stuff. There are a few families that we proudly wish to honor and recognize tonight. Very special families. This is an emotional part of the banquet for sure. A Blue Star family. A Blue Star family has an immediate family member currently serving in our military. If one of your family is currently serving our military, would you please stand and be recognized? The White Star family. A White Star family is one who had a close relative that served in the military and lost them due to suicide. At the peak of the epidemic, active service members and reserves, there was up to 22 suicides per day back in 2009, 2010. Since then, I believe, thankfully, with organizations like Show of Support and the support of our communities like we have in the Permian Basin, organizations, like I said, with Show of Support, along with several others, as Terry mentioned earlier, across the United States, these numbers have recently decreased dramatically. And I really think events like this and support groups here and all over the United States is playing a huge role in that. Whether active duty, reserve, retired military, we want to honor those families and their loved ones. If this has affected your family, would you please stand? The Gold Star family. A Gold Star family is one that had a family member give the ultimate sacrifice and died for our great country and our great freedoms that we have here in America. This is not the kind of honor that a family wants. If you had a family member that gave the ultimate sacrifice and died for our freedoms so that we can live the life that we are blessed to be living today, we wish to recognize you tonight. Please stand. This is a very, very special group. Heroes' wives. We hear a lot about courage, honor, and strength when it comes to the line of work that we have been recognizing and honoring tonight. I feel like we could add patient, loving, tough, selfless, and relentless to this group as well when it comes to describing the heroes' wives. Last time I checked, they don't have any trainings or courses for this job. This group typically doesn't always have the option to choose where they live, go to school, or how long they will be there. I can't imagine not having the ability to say, you drop them off at practice or school and I'll pick them up. They can't ask you, please help our daughter with their homework and project, and I will help the other two. Most couples nowadays are split up, going 100 miles an hour, two different directions. This group of women have not been blessed with this luxury. They must adapt, learn along the way, and find a way to provide a solid, consistent leadership for a family that a family needs while dad is away. There is no one better on the planet at making the best of the hand that they have been dealt. Thankfully, God constantly is watching over them as they are praying and worrying about their husband's safety while he's away. I learned a lot when I asked a good buddy of mine if I could get his wife's story. I would like to share that story tonight and read that story just to help us all understand what it's like being a hero's wife. When Daniel sent me your request for a spouse's perspective on what I went through, I realized it was a lot harder to answer than I expected. Partly because as spouse and a caregiver, we are never asked how we are doing. When Daniel left for Iraq, I was more afraid of him not coming home or having mental issues because what he would see or what he must do. I never thought he would come home injured. When he left, I decided not to watch any news coverage of the war. I guess it was kind of out of sight, out of mind. I kept my daughters and my routine the same. I went to work, she went to preschool during the week, and gymnastics on Saturdays. Staying strong for both of us was my number one priority. I would try to always sound upbeat when I would get my weekly calls from Daniel. Daniel would always try to call our daughter Mary on Saturdays to hear about gymnastics. On Saturday, April 8th, our daughter didn't receive her weekly phone call. That was the day I found out Daniel's vehicle was hit by an IED and he was injured. As Mary and I pulled up to the house, I noticed a military van parked out front. I saw Daniel's lieutenant and chaplain get out of the van. The worst feeling came across my body. I sent Mary inside the house fearing I was going to hear the worst. I remember asking his lieutenant over and over, "Why are you here?" Then I got the news that Daniel was injured. At the time, all they knew that he had lost his legs and he was burned. I broke down and started to cry. I quickly realized that I had to be strong and tell Mary that her daddy got hurt. The next day was a blur. Rear Detachment was working hard to get me flights and a passport to Germany for just me. I was told I would have to go alone and leave Mary. I broke down again. Mary and I had never been apart. I could count on one hand how many times that I'd left her with someone. I made the decision to leave her with some good friends rather than family. If she stayed with her friends, she would be able to keep the same routine. Luckily, I never had to fly to Germany. Doctors were able to stabilize Daniel and transport him to Walter Reed Army Hospital. I couldn't go to Maryland fast enough. Being able to see Daniel put me at ease. I was able to stay in Daniel's room while he was being treated. There were many days with very little sleep. There were days when I would just drink a Pepsi and eat peanuts for a meal. I didn't want to be away from Daniel any longer than I had to. Every day, I would get the heartbreaking phone call from Mary asking me when I was going to come pick her up and when was she going to be able to see her daddy. Daniel and I stayed at Walter Reed for another week and a half. We then flew to Brooke Army Medical Center in a military aircraft. I must have been looking rough because the flight nurse asked me when I slept last. I got the best sleep on that flight. I guess I felt at peace knowing that the nurse was taking care of Daniel. Soon after moving to San Antonio, I brought Mary down from Killeen. Not only was I caring for Daniel, but I also had a 4-year-old who needed me. It was tough at times. Other than the military, I didn't have any outside help from my family. Mary and I spent every day at the hospital. After about a month and a half, Daniel was able to finally come home, and I took on a new role. I became his nurse. I had to learn how to give meds through a PICC line and shots in his stomach for blood clots. My life was a roller coaster for the next year. Daniel was in and out of the hospital for infections. Just when we thought our lives were going to be normal, something would happen. Anytime Daniel would be admitted, Mary and I were by his side. Daniel getting injured not only changed him physically and mentally, it changed me. I lost who I was. I spent so much time caring for him and letting him enjoy life, I often forgot about myself. There are times when I get sad and feel sorry for myself because although he's able to do things with me, it'll always be different. Everything gets tweaked a little bit to make his life easier. I just wanted to share that. To me, I felt like it was powerful, and it was just very helpful to understand and read a story like several of these wives have here tonight. Let's show all these women the same equal love, courage, honor, and strength that they are used to passing along as they stand, and then we can recognize them. Thank you very much for being the rock and the glue that holds a family together.
I think we all know that at the end of the Afghanistan deal of the pullout, 13 brave Americans were lost. At this time, we would like to take a moment and we have a tribute to them. That's what this table up here is about. If you get a chance to look at it, it has each member's picture on it, along with his branch and his rank. And we would like to just take a moment and remember and memorialize these folks. Okay, now at this time, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker. Greg Stubbe took part in our program 14 years ago, and for some reason, there's always a character in the group. Greg was that character. I had a great time. He just happened to be one of the ones I got to hunt with, and I had a great time with him. I was going to get up here and be kind of funny. It's more serious, Greg. Greg is a very well-noted speaker. He speaks and teaches at the FBI Academy. He's in the last 6 years, he's been their #1 top speaker. He has spoken at many, many Republican conventions, NRA conventions. He's a motivator, and he has a calm, quiet, polite way of doing that. I've never met anybody that I've felt so close to as I have with Greg Stubbe. So at this time, would you please help me welcome Greg Stubbe?
Y'all should wait till I'm finished before you clap. You don't know what I'm about to say. I'm back, and what an honor it is to be back here in Midland, Texas. I've never seen anything that represents the country that I fought for better than this. So thank you, Terry. Thank you, all the veterans. Thank you, all the volunteers, the law enforcement, the fire and rescue, and even all you dirty, nasty civilians. Yeah, it's one team and one fight. And we're here tonight because there's something bigger than any one of us and bigger than the sum of all of us in this room. and it's called freedom, and it sure is worth fighting for. I'm just one tiny little turd in a long history of people in the military that have fought for this freedom we enjoy. And we happen to belong to a nation that was formed by God-fearing men who wrote a constitution according to what they knew was right. And that came from a higher law. And so tonight, I tell you, and I say this everywhere I go, and I don't care what environment it is, I am an unapologetic Christian. I love my God, and I love the freedom that only He can grant. It's not up to evil men to try to take that away. And I'm part of a country that has always stood and fought, no matter where in the world that freedom is challenged. I've never fought. I spent 23 years in the Special Forces, but I never fought for anger or vengeance. It was always love and compassion. We have love for freedom and compassion for the human condition in any environment, anywhere on the planet. And this country has always proven that we will go anywhere, anytime, with whatever we have to spare that, to maintain that. And I believe it's in God's name. Now, whatever faith you have, I just know that it's important, based on my own personal experiences, that we believe in something greater than us. I'm not demanding that anyone believe the way I do. You don't have to be a Christian, but please believe in something greater than you. First of all, if you think you're the apex of all creation, the rest of us are disappointed. We were hoping for something better. Yeah. But we all reach a threshold for what we can understand and comprehend about our physical selves and about our environments. And usually in these fleeting moments where we know death may be approaching, we're going to reach for something. And it pays to have that relationship built before we arrive at that moment, at that station. So with that said, I hope you won't persecute me for being a Christian tonight. There may be a common thread throughout anything else I say. I joined the Army in 1988, and I can't say, like a lot of the veterans here, that I joined in a time of war when my country was at a time of need. No, the biggest thing going in 88 was Rambo. Oh, and I needed to be Rambo. I did, but my recruiter lied to me. Oh, it's funny, is it? Yeah. He told me they'd turn me into Rambo, set me free on the world's bad guys with training and tactics within a few short weeks, and I'd come back and brief the president. Not so much. And then in a few short years, I was promotable to sergeant, and then I was eligible to try out for the Special Forces, the Green Berets. Oh my goodness, are you kidding? And there I went. What an idiot. So with Similac on my breath, I went to the Special Forces recruiter, knocking on a giant aquarium full of sharks, asking if I can get in and swim with them. Stupid. I wasn't ready. I lacked a lot of the maturity that it would take. And I spent the next 20 years swimming with those sharks, praying not to bleed. And I thought that earning the Green Beret would be everything. I thought that life would be a downhill slide if I could just get that Green Beret after a couple years of drinking through a fire hose, where they're doing things to you that we can't even do to enemy combatants when we interview them. And tonight, while we sit in this wonderful, clean, well-lit environment, we have daughters and sons, sisters and brothers, neighbors and friends who have volunteered to go through training like that, just to have an enhanced opportunity to die for us. And I celebrate the fact that the fabric of freedom is still strong enough that we maintain it with an all-volunteer force. I was a part of this program 14 years ago. 14 years. That makes me an old fart. Can I say that word? Don't worry, there'll be worse. It's coming. I came here and I was still broken. I lost well over half of my intestines. My foot and ankle were blown off and they were restored surgically, kind of. I can't really feel it now. I trip a lot, so I'm fun to watch. And it'll go to sleep during the day and then stay up all night. But it's mine. I had third-degree, full-thickness burns over about 30% of my body. And that hard day at the office changed my life forever. And because I was burned that badly, I had to come to Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, Texas. I wasn't prepared for that. You see, I had quite a chip on my shoulder. I'd already spent 7 years in and out of Bosnia and Kosovo. And my survival mechanism for the things I was witnessing at a young age, genocide, millions of landmines still in the ground, and as the medical sergeant on the A-team, I was responsible for trying to fix things that were broken. I was responsible for trying to save lives, and I'd failed. And my survival mechanism had turned me into a jackass because I thought I was 10 feet tall and bulletproof. I thought I was the guardian of America. And I thought that my own countrymen, my own citizens, were lemmings that would follow each other off a cliff, if not for people like me, who would save you all. I had become that arrogant, and I'm ashamed, because it's backwards. I had sworn to fight for this country and everyone in it. I had sworn to die if necessary for it. But my ego had gotten the best of me, and the true nature of service had escaped me. When I came to show us support, a lot of that got turned around because people were serving me. And my hunting guide for this trip was Cody, and he's here. Stand up. Stand up, Cody. It was a human connection for me with the subhuman civilian. And I found new things about life, about a long career in the military. There were blessings. It showed me, Cody and Terry and the whole team here at Show of Support, they taught me that this was not a destination for veterans that have had a hard day at the office. This is a springboard into a better life as a citizen in a country we swore was worth dying for. This is a civil-military handshake that should be the model for the rest of the world, because this is how we maintain freedom. But back to the notion of service, because when I joined the military, it was one thing. Service, sacrifice, commitment, they take on one context when you join the military. They're going to have to change. They're going to have to improve if you're going to stay that course, because the demands come hard and heavy, and they're going to do things to you that your daddy never did. And how do you keep that up? Because we find out how much we believe in something when we have to give stuff up to maintain that belief. And we find out what real leadership is when we have to overcome our own fear of dying to do what someone we don't even like is telling us to do. It's the nature of the business, and it's hard. And so for me to live up to that commitment, service would have to change in my mind. And it didn't really occur to me until I was in a hospital in Texas. Yep, I was in the burn ward in San Antonio, and I'd gone from a proud and brave, barrel-chested, steely-eyed Green Beret freedom fighter to an invalid laying in a bed who couldn't wipe his own butt. I wasn't prepared for that. Nobody, in all my years of training, that was my last mission to retirement. But I still wasn't trained for this. How do I do this? So with the third-degree burns all over my butt, and look, if you get burned, I recommend you don't burn your butt. It does affect things. So with full-thickness burns on my butt, my back, and my legs, and I'd lost over half my intestines to a meteorite of shrapnel, a 1-pound piece of shrapnel that went through my hip and thigh and removed all those guts from me. And if you don't think God has a sense of humor, how do you lose 70% of your intestines and still have a gut like this? There you go laughing again. I hope you enjoy it. It's cruel. But I was laying in a hospital bed, and I just want to accent your dinner this evening by saying that this yellow acid water was running out of my butt 15 to 20 times a day, going straight into my third-degree burns. Those are supposed to be sterile dressings. Not anymore. I could not reach to clean myself. I couldn't roll over to do anything, much less go to the bathroom. And people I didn't know had to come into the room and wipe my butt for me that many times a day. They were serving me in a way that I'd never served anyone else, not even as a medical sergeant. And I began learning about what service was when I saw that just to do their job, these nurses had to have love and compassion to do what they did. And they gave it to me. They didn't know me, but they loved me. I'd been missing it the whole time. And so now, today is such a celebration of veterans, and we're so supported by law enforcement out here. And look, I love me some law enforcement, because everything we fight for overseas would be worth a hill of beans if we came home to mayhem. The only thing, okay, freedom. What is freedom in the absence of law enforcement? Freedom is a jungle quickly, because our humanity is so poor and weak and fragile. Freedom just means that I can hit you over the head and take your stuff. That's what freedom is. So without a cop, what we fight for is nothing. So I salute law enforcement tonight and every day, because I'm trying to raise a 16-year-old. And to all you law enforcement, tag, you're it. Yeah. I have an identity crisis because I was considered to be an elite warrior. So when it comes down to service, I had to rethink everything because now I wasn't this awesome Green Beret. No, in fact, you want to talk about an identity crisis, spending a couple decades being a little green beanie out there in crazy places where they're trying to kill you with no adult supervision. And then you come back at the end of all that to America, and I got to take a class from a dude that works at the post office just to be able to carry a pistol legally. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm on the bench. No, I'm out to pasture, it seems. But laying in that hospital, it made me think so much the way I was being taken care of. You see, I'd spent that long being a care provider as a medic, but I'd never served anyone like that. I'd never loved anyone like that. In order to do their jobs, these nurses were doing things that were amazing, and I just hadn't done it. And so my mind went to the shadow warriors first. Those of you who remain at home, raising the children, maintaining Fort Living Room, doing all the things you have to do to maintain a life. And we come back from whatever it is we do over there. A lot of it we don't even talk about, even if it was nothing. but we will criticize you when we get home because you haven't done things right. And I want to apologize for all of us, because it's the shadow warriors that never had the option to raise their right hand and swear in. They're never going to get the credit. They're never going to be called a hero for anything they've done, but they are most responsible for maintaining the fabric of freedom here at home, where freedom lives. We are only guardians of this wonderful thing. And what's happening here tonight and the rest of the week is proof that we are one team in one fight. But we can't forget the shadow warriors. And for me, it didn't stop there. If we're thinking about service, to me, it doesn't go to a cop or a soldier or Marine or any of that. No, sorry. I mean, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a bumper sticker that says, I support the troops, or I back the blue, which means don't give me a ticket. But look, let's not start patting ourselves on the back too much, drinking our own Kool-Aid, because honestly, America is great because America is great. And we have the honor of serving that and maintaining that and being guardians of it. What a wonderful identity. And I don't care what the cost. We all knew what it might cost when we raised our right hand. We're not victims. Not anymore. We are volunteers. And we are not wounded. We are warriors with everything we have left. And we have the privilege and the honor of being citizens in the country we swore was worth fighting and dying for. And we need to dedicate whatever we have left to being the best that we can for this country and within this country. And you tonight are offering us that wonderful handshake, that wonderful reception and reintegration to America. And the show of support, again, is the best example I have. But on service, the greatest example or definition of service that I have is my relationship with my Creator. But in a worldly sense, if I could put a picture in the dictionary beside the word service, it would be a picture of Mama. Yep. Because Mama can be sick, tired, hungry, injured, and none of that matters. She is up through the night wiping your butt. Yep. And what is the criteria for Mama's success in this endeavor? There's one for you leaders. She has a singular criteria. Her success is your success. It's our success. What if we could love our people like that? What if we could? So that's the best example for me. And I don't mean to, I know there are gender issues these days, okay? So I want to be fair. If you weren't born to a woman, raise your hand. Oh, so maybe we can have an adult conversation. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't have much regard for political correctness. See, political correctness, it's like, if it's political, I know it's not correct. That's almost as bad as military intelligence. No, the two cannot coexist on the same plane. Sorry. And you know, I don't even have a relationship with my mother. But I know there's too much evidence in our culture that nurturing, that love and compassion, those formative years of nurturing, that beautiful stuff, it mostly comes from Mama. And maybe it wasn't Mama that nurtured you. Maybe it wasn't Mama that raised you. Maybe it was Granddaddy, but I guarantee whoever it was, they were stealing from feminine virtues and maternal instincts to do it, because that's what makes us strong in the first place. And while I don't want to create gender issues here tonight, I want to say that men are idiots. Because we're the most likely to absorb all that love and compassion and selfless service and go out into the world proclaiming ourselves a badass, and we'll take all the credit for it. Why are we awesome? That's just because we are. No. It's because someone took care of us and made us strong, and we don't want our friends to know that the reason we feel strong now is because we know we only have to go 2 more hours and we can go have Mama pet our heads again. So, and I don't even have, like I say, my mama wouldn't even breastfeed me. She said she liked me as a friend, but I know what mama means in our culture, in our society, and I know that it's the best model we have. And think about an authoritarian leader, someone who's elected or appointed, and they're telling you what to do, and you do it because you want to keep your job, or because you're dedicated to a virtue and you're serving it. So you do what you're told and you make things work. Well, that's okay. But what would you do for your leader if you knew they loved you? When they love you, we'll follow them anywhere. We'll risk our lives for them. We'll do anything for them. And we know that's what we love, but when we become the leader, we're jackasses. We forget everything. And it's in our human nature because we're born selfish. Really, we're not strong. We're not tough. None of us. After my experiences, there's 2 kinds of people. There's people who think they're tough, and then there's those of us who have really been tested and we know better. We're fragile at best. We're born into this world slobbering on ourselves and pooping on ourselves. And if it weren't for the tender mercies of Mama or someone like her, we would die in the infection of our own feces. And then if life goes perfectly on this planet and nothing traumatic or tragic happens, which is rare, then we go through the years and the decades, and if it's perfect, we sail into this romantic sunset of life, and then we're pooping on ourselves again. And once again, it's going to take the tender mercies of someone better than us, serving us in ways that we never served anyone else. So why are we walking around acting like we're tough, like we don't need each other, like we don't love each other? We have to love each other. And I'll tell you, Murphy's Law has an addendum to it. If anything can go wrong, it will. And oh, by the way, the one that saves your butt is going to be the one you've been talking the most trash about for years. Oh, it's the way it is. And the way I see it, this room, you are my American team. You are my A team now. You represent everything I fought for. You brought it here with you tonight. I see it. And if I didn't say it yet, and I didn't, and I'm so sorry, I love you. I do. I don't know what you're expecting to hear from some Green Beret tonight, but I love you so much. There's a narrow spectrum of reasons that you would be here tonight. And it puts you in my sweet spot, and I love you. You represent what needs to be maintained in this country, and our work's ahead of us. It is. I look at this table tonight, and I look what was lost due to our hasty withdrawal from Afghanistan. And I'm not political about this, but we don't leave anyone behind. And it's not a military principle. Let me make this clear. It's an American principle. Because we Americans don't leave anyone behind, and our military does the same by that example. In our country, if we have a terminally ill child, we will pour resources into it, into that beautiful creation of God until their last breath on this planet. We will do everything we can for them until they leave this earth. But in other countries that I've been to, it's not that way. It's a waste of resources somehow. So the proof is in the pudding. It's about who we are. Just remember this. I know we're in troubled times, but tonight is an indicator that it ain't over. We haven't given up what we believe in. And no matter who is elected or appointed in leadership, it does not mandate, they cannot mandate how we treat our neighbor. It is we, the people, that determine the culture that goes forward. And only we can determine who our leaders become for the future. And it had better represent the core values that make us free in the first place. So each one of you, tag, you're it. Don't be lazy. We have work to do, but for some reason we're all standing around a campfire talking about how the next generation isn't worth a flip. They got no respect, no discipline. They could never do what we had to do to get where we are, and our future's doomed if that's what we got to count on. But in human history, has there ever been a generation, senior generation, that approved of the younger generation? No. 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 It just doesn't work that way. So we're executing this judgment, this harsh judgment on each other as individuals and generationally. This is a team that needs to be together. But we can't overcome the lesser elements of our own humanity somehow to love each other. But I bet you there's no one in this room that wouldn't lay their life down and die to save anyone else in this room. It's the nature of who we are. So we love each other. Do you see it? Can we start off on that foot? Can we put our petty little perceived differences on the back burner long enough to accept our absolute commonalities and march forward, arms locked? We'd better, because we're going to need it. We're going to need each other. And we need to start loving each other now. But even in this small community, what a microcosm of everything that's great about America, Midland, right here. But there's someone in this room you hate. Yeah, no, don't point him out. No. No. The whole point is it's human nature to think we don't like somebody else. Get over it. We don't like them because we don't know them. And the further we stay away from them, we'll never know the truth about them. We can't see the good in other people until there's something in it for us. And it's so selfish. We shouldn't wait. Because in a crisis where you're in real trouble, like I say, the one that saves you is going to be the one you've been talking the most trash about. And suddenly there'll be a champion, a hero. Look at this awesome person. You want them on your Christmas card list for life now. You want your children to meet the hero that saved you. But what changed about that person? Nothing. The only thing that changes is our ability to see the greatness that was always in them, because they saved us. Don't do it. So whoever you think the turd is out here, that's going to be the one that saves you. So Terry, with your permission, I'd like to declare a new holiday here tonight. All right, let's make this Hug a Turd Day. That's right. That's right. But hold on, not so fast. With political sensitivities in mind, everyone is supposed to be a winner, okay? Everyone gets a trophy. So when you hug said turd, make sure that neither one of you realizes exactly which one the turd is. That way we can all leave with our heads high. Mm-hmm. But do it. Build that bridge, or it might be too late. I was an instructor for the Special Forces program at Fort Bragg, trying to make little green beanies, and my judgment got the best of me. I had a character assessment gun. I thought I could spot a turd from 100 yards away, and I couldn't see the wonderful character that people brought to the table for some reason. I was a gatekeeper, and it's terrible. There was a proud young Texan that showed up in my program, but he'd never shut up about Texas. And look, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of this petty little perceived judgment, because there was two kinds of people in the Army I couldn't stand to begin with. They were from New York and Texas. I may not make it out of here alive, but it ain't the first time I've been in a pinch. because they'd never shut up about it. We can't have a good day where we are because everything's bigger and better in Texas. And yeah. And then there's New York. You know, we've been in the field eating MREs for 6 weeks, and we're all constipated. And we get a break, and we get to go to Taco Bell, and it's wonderful, except for the dude from New York City. Oh, you should see it. We got 13 restaurants in every block. They're open all night. This is nothing. No, this is awesome, dude. Shut up. And since I retired, I've spent a lot of time in New York and a lot of time in Texas. And I have to confess, they're wonderful, wonderful places and wonderful people. But they should stay there. Forgive me. But that's how our judgment can work. And you know how much we need each other in the military, because we couldn't survive on the battlefield without the Air Force. We love to make fun of the Air Force. Oh, yeah, and I'm sorry, Air Force veterans, but not really. I almost joined the Air Force, but then I chose the military instead. And I know we got a bunch of Marines here, and I tried to get in, but when I went to the Marine recruiter, they said they were looking for a few good men. So here I am. And when I wrote a book, I had a Marine Corps edition, but I had to discontinue it. I got in some trouble. Even though Ollie North endorsed the book on the back cover, I was supposed to have a disclaimer in there because the crayons we had attached to the back, I did not disclose that they're not flavors, they're just colors. So we love to make fun of each other, but I wouldn't be alive without the efforts of some Marine Corps units and the Navy and the Air Force from multiple angles. It's incredible how much we need each other. Are we loving each other? Do we know that we need each other? And so tonight I just wanted to go to the human side, because we could say as veterans that you wouldn't understand unless you were there. But I know that no matter who you are, pain hurts, and fear is scary, and love is awesome. And if we don't have these things going for us moving forward and find more commonality in each other and agree to serve and love each other with a greater perspective, then we're never going to make it. And this needs to be a very strong team if we're going to survive what's ahead of us. But this Texas turd that I didn't like, his name was Riley Stevens, and I just knew he was going to fail, and he did. But it wasn't my fault. I just kept my distance and watched. And when he failed, it wasn't like the other turds that came to the office. And when I told him he failed, look, my daddy would kill me if I let you pass knowing you couldn't save my life in combat. And by this time, 1.5 years through this kind of training with no quality of life at all, most grown men would cry. And they would lose their strength in that moment because they'd have to go home and tell their families they'll never be what they set out to become and what they'd committed so much to do. But when this proud Texan came into my office, he didn't do that. He locked it up in a position, and he said, "Roger that, Sergeant. Tell me what to do next, because I refuse to quit." And I still hated him. He went to multiple rotations overseas with the 82nd Airborne Division after that. And I got a letter from a colonel that said, "Riley Stevens may be one of the strongest NCOs I've ever had on combat deployments, and he gives you, Sergeant Stubbe, credit for his professional development." And I thought, oh no, he has manipulated his commander too. But he was just wanting my personal approval before he reapplied to try all over again to be a Green Beret. When he went back through again with my approval, only because I was going back into the fight with my team and I'd never have to look at him again, and I knew he'd never make it again because my character assessment gun said so, He wound up with higher scores and performance measures than I'd ever achieved in my whole career. Yep, he became a Green Beret medic better than me. So who's the turd? It was me the whole time. I should have hugged a turd. And when I saw differences, I shouldn't have kept him at a distance. I should have brought him closer. I should have mentored him, counseled him, told him what I saw and what I heard that wasn't working. And what if I had loved him for our absolute commonalities? I'm here tonight with a heavy heart because Riley Stevens never came home. He showed up on the battlefield, and while I was laying there with my intestines in the sand beside me and a foot and ankle in a boot that was a foot away from the rest of my leg, and I was still on fire, he showed up and he saved me. He and God alone allowed for my survival. And when I saw that it was Riley Stevens coming to save me, I was like, I'm really happy that someone can save me, but it's Riley Stevens. So what would I say in a moment where I'm struggling to survive? I'm ashamed that I had to overcome the lesser parts of my own humanity in that moment. And the only words I could think of to speak to Riley Stevens, the hero coming to save my life: no hard feelings, right? And he didn't have hard feelings. But now I wear this bracelet for Riley. And I can't send him Christmas cards. I can't hug that turd. I can't take my son to meet the hero that saved me. So I'm asking you tonight, hug a turd. Reach out. Build bridges. We need each other. And if we love each other, it makes everything better. Put aside the petty little differences. If Riley could be here right now to say anything at all, he wouldn't want your sympathy. No, I knew him too well for that. He was a proud Texan. He knew where to find sympathy. It was in the dictionary between shit and syphilis. That'd be the only place to find it. Forgive me, I shouldn't curse. I shouldn't. But the things we're facing are very real, right? So let's get real with each other and let's face real things and real problems. Don't be afraid to speak for your core values. If it feels like you're being run over, it's because you are. But if we were here first, and these core values are what formed this nation and allowed for God's freedom to prevail, why would we be silent? I don't think we should. I think every veteran here, I know that we all fought for what we have here. We're not willing to give that up. You have one of the best examples right now of how good we can be together. And you are a glimpse of how good the future can look. Because of you, I don't have to regret anything I've been through. You validate all of my fight through the years. You validate everything bad that happened to me. It was negative at the time, but what a great positive. The Lord knew it would take a lot to knock that chip off my shoulder, and He gave it to me. And He brought me here to Midland with a show of support. And He taught me that people had been loving me the whole time when I hadn't been loving them. And this became a springboard into the rest of my life. And when I met so many of you 14 years ago, I saw an element of society that I needed and wanted desperately to be a successful part of. I wanted to be a contributor with anything I had left from the fight. I've done my best since. But tonight is more rewarding to me than anything I've done since 14 years ago. And even though I don't personally like Terry Johnson, I have to give him credit for what he's doing here, but I do it grudgingly. But I give all of you the credit. I salute the veterans here tonight, and I salute law enforcement here tonight, and I salute the fabric of our American freedom, and that's all of you here to support this event and everything you do as patriots and citizens. We need you for the future, and you are no less soldiers than any one of us. So God bless you all. God bless Texas, and God bless America. Thank you.
I hope you see why I like Greg, even though he doesn't like me. At this time, we're going to do what has become a tradition with show of support. The first time I did this deal, we had a couple of guys. They were freshly injured, didn't have a rifle, and so when I invited them on a hunt, I took 2 extra of my rifles. The next year, we were going to take 12 men. I didn't have 12 rifles, so I had to make phone calls to a bunch of buddies and round up some money and buy these guys some rifles. I felt bad because I didn't want to give these men rifles that other folks had paid for, so I said, let's have a little dinner and I'll let you guys give them the rifles and you meet them. And look what it turned into. So thank you, everybody here, for what this tradition is all about. So at this time, I'm going to ask some folks to come up here. We're going to give, I've always wanted to send these guys and gals home with a little bit of Texas, because we're very proud here in Texas. So Flex Flow, Jeff Wilhelm, if you'll come up to the stage over on this side, we're going to give them a good old big Texas belt buckle to take home and remember from Midland, Texas. Premier Energy, Elaine Carrasco, if you would come up here, please. And you will be over on this side over here to my left. We've got a jeweler here in Midland who's a former Marine who makes a necklace, and we're going to present the wives with this silver necklace as a memory of tonight. And then also AES Drilling Fluids, Scott Golden Blanket. If I can get you over here on this side of the stage. We're going to send them home with a Texas flag. Again, I want everybody that's been a part of this to realize there's this little bitty town in Midland, Texas that loves what's going on in our military. Again, the rifle was started out for one reason. It's turned out to be many, many other reasons. It'll have a different meaning for each one of you guys that we're fixing to present the rifle to, and I'd love to hear your story later. One thing as a conglomerate that I've gotten from the presentation of a rifle is that once again it normalizes something that's normal. And so I hope that it means that to you. It's a rifle you get to use and use tomorrow on your hunt until Friday, and it's also a rifle I hope you'll keep. I get many pictures later in years, guys been on bear hunts, elk hunts, all kinds of hunts, and they're proud of their rifle, so I hope you'll be as proud of it as we are to give it to you. So we've got the ROTC, so guys and gals, so you'll know what, we're going to start on this side of the room. That's the presentation order. ROTC is going to bring a couple up here. I'm going to read a very short bit of your bio. Please read your program. It's got the complete bio of each couple in it. But if we've got everybody about in place. Again, this is a part that General Hollingsworth used to do, Major General Hollingsworth. He's sick, so I'm going to do the best I can to fill in for him. I used to joke that he butchered names. Now it's my chance, and I'm going to be butchering them. I promise, guys, I didn't mean to. But first one we want to honor is Sergeant First Class Jason Angle, his wife Roberta. They've been married 22 years. Okay, if I can get you to come up here and just come to the middle. Have 4 children. 2 of them are in the Army. He's from Ohio, Now lives in West Virginia. He's been in the Army for 22 years, deployed in South Korea, 2 times to Iraq, 2 times to Afghanistan. He's got the Meritorious Service Medal 2 times, Army Commendation 10 times, and Army Achievement, along with many, many other different awards. Right now he's a federal agent. His rifle sponsor is K Land and Cattle, and the presenters are Hunter and Larissa Keller. Okay, then now y'all can just exit off that side. Next one, CW2, Jeremy Shook, and his wife Leah. Don't go ahead and come on up. They've been married 8 years. They have 2 daughters. Now lives in North Carolina. He's served in the United States Marine Corps. Deployed 3 times to Iraq, 2 times to Afghanistan. This guy was shot in the head, and here he is tonight on our stage. Deployed 3 times after he was shot in the head. This is one tough dude. Yeah. Must be a Marine. He's got a Purple Heart, Navy and Marine Corps Commendations medals, and other medals. He's currently training for more upcoming deployments. So the rifle sponsor tonight is Berry Oil and Gas, and the presenters are Mike and Kathy Party. Thank you. That's good. Thank you. Next couple, Specialist Christopher Dungan, his wife Victoria. Been married 11 years. They have 5 children. He's from Texas, and he lives in Midland. So we got a local couple here. Served 8 years in the United States Army. Deployed to Iraq 2 times. He was injured in an IED explosion while in an MRAP. He has TBI and PTSD, among other aches and pains. Received a Purple Heart, Iraqi Campaign Medal, and 2 stars, and then many, many other awards. Again, you can read their bios, and everything's complete in there. Rifle sponsor tonight is Dynasty Wireline. The presenters are Randy and Renee Mooring. Next one is Sergeant Joe Constante. Did I get it right? Did I get close? All right. I had to spell it out really. The wife's name is Leah. They have 3 children. Leah couldn't make it tonight. Hometown was Texas, or he was from Texas. He now lives in Beeville. Served in the Army 6.5 years. Deployed to Iraq 2 times. He just a month ago had back surgery. He had went through 2 IED explosions, broke his ankle and back, loss of hearing, nerve damage, and a TBI. Combat awards include just a couple. There's Soldier's Medal for Valor and Heroism, plus many others. He's honorably discharged 2010, 4 RCOMs, and many others. So the rifle sponsor is Basin Emergency Physicians. Presenters Dr. Jeff Panal and Laura Watson. Sergeant John Caterberg, his wife Barbara. They have 4 daughters. Served in the Army. Deployed to Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan. Injured in an IED, has TBI, tinnitus, lung injuries, knee injuries, PTSD. Received a Purple Heart, 3 RCOM, and many, many other awards. His rifle sponsor tonight is American Momentum Bank. Presenters are Greg and Brandy Paget. Thank y'all. All right, thank y'all. First Sergeant Robert Fontenot and wife Michelle. They have 2 sons. Michelle is a 12-year Army veteran, and she just celebrated 4 years cancer-free. They live in Alabama. Robert served 23 years in the United States Army, deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan. He has TBI and PTSD. Among his awards are 5 ARCOM Global War on Terrorism Service Medal and many, many others. His presenters tonight are Griffin Petroleum, David and Cindy Griffin. Okay, the next one is Sergeant Vince D. Fabrizio. I got close. And his wife, Callie, served as a Marine. Also, his wife did. They have 3 children. They now live in North Carolina. Vincent served in the United States Marine Corps 12 years, deployed to Japan, Afghanistan 4 different times. TBI and PTSD, his combat awards are 2 Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medals, War on Terrorism Service Medal, along with many, many others. Rifle sponsor tonight is SM Energy. Presenters Ernie and Jennifer Garcia. Sergeant Michael Gray and his wife Courtney. They have 2 children. From California, now living in Midland. Don't California my Midland. Had to say it. Served in the United States Marine Corps 12 and a half years. Deployed to Japan, Iraq 3 times. He's got shoulder and back injuries. Current base. He lives right here in good old Greenwood, USA. And rifle sponsors, Tommy White Supply. Presenters, Chris and Jaylynn McDowell. Sergeant Major Angel Tony Alvarez and his wife Daniela. They have 3 daughters. Do what? 3 daughters. They now live in Florida. Served in the Army 3 different times. You're glutton for punishment. No, that's awesome. He went to Vietnam. He went to Germany. Went to Italy. Served in Iraq. His injuries include TBI, PTSD, vision loss, hearing loss. He was blown up in a roadside IED. His combat awards are the Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Army Commendation Medal ×5, and numerous others. Tonight, his rifle sponsors, Wayne and Bunny Brooks, presenters David and Leslie Childs. Sergeant First Class Travis Stouffer, his wife Krista. They have 2 sons. And your wife served in the National Guard? Krista served in the National Guard as an MP. She served in Iraq. She has a Purple Heart from a rocket attack. They are now living in Missouri. Travis served in the Army 12 years plus, deployed to Iraq, rocket blast injuries, TBI, herniated disc, PTSD, and many other related issues to that. Combat awards, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, prestigious Audie Murphy Club inductee, and many others. And if you know anything about the Audie Murphy Club, that's a very, very special, elite deal to belong to. So awesome. That is very awesome. Rifle sponsors, McClure Oil and Company. Randy and Reba Stillwell is the presenters. Staff Sergeant Joe Modahan. Did I get close? Okay. In Texas, we say Mojan, but no. And his wife, Kenya. They've been married 20 years, have 2 daughters. They're from Cuba, but they got to the United States as quick as they could. They now live in Florida. Served 12 years in the United States Army, deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan 2 times, medically retired from numerous service-related injuries. His combat awards include 4 Army Commendation Medals, Army Air Medal, plus many, many others. His rifle sponsor is Profac. Presenters will be John Qualls and Mark Acklin. Gunny Sergeant Guillermo Tejada. Okay, all right, they'll be coming up here. Again, Gunny Sergeant Guillermo Tejada and his wife, Veronica. They've been married 21 years, and when I asked him, somebody said too long. Who was it? Now they have 4 children. They're from El Salvador, but they now live in San Antonio. Served in the United States Marine Corps 15 years. Deployed to Japan, Kuwait, Iraq, and Afghanistan. An IED caused loss of his legs and injuries to his left arm and hand. His combat awards include Bronze Star with Valor, Purple Heart, Navy Achievement Medal, and numerous others. His rifle sponsor is Matt and Pamela Swerk, and the presenters will be Cameron and Samantha Dunn. Okay, the next one, Command Sergeant Major Brian Morneau and his wife Christy. They have 2 sons, now live in Georgia. Brian served in the United States Army for 22 and a half years, deployed to Iraq. Injured in a rocket explosion that damaged his neck and lower back. Combat awards include Purple Heart, 2 Bronze Stars, 3 Meritorious Service Medals, along with numerous others. His rifle sponsor is Clayton Williams Companies, and the presenters are Joshua and Jared Groner, and these are the grandsons of Modesta and Clayton. Specialist Darren Gronowski and his wife Tara. They have 1 daughter. They now live in Texas. Served in the United States Army 5.5 years, deployed to Germany and Iraq. And after many IEDs, RPG, and mortars, he suffers from knee and back issues along with PTSD. Combat awards include Combat Infantry Badge, Army Commendation Medal, along with others. His rifle sponsor is Devon Energy, and the presenters are Craig Jarboe and his wife Lynn. Specialist Chad Artemovich, his wife Christy. When I asked if they had kids, they said they got dogs and chickens and they love it. And me and Paula have dogs, so I can commiserate. Now lives in Georgia, served 2 different stints, one in the Army for 12 years, and then as a United States Marine for 4. Deployed to Somalia, Haiti, Iraq, Afghanistan, suffered IED blast, TBI, back and neck, along with PTSD. Combat awards, ARCOM, Purple Heart. His rifle sponsor is Hilliard Office Solution, presenters Beckett and Carissa Danley. Master Sergeant Antonio Romano, his wife Shanna. They have 2 daughters, now live in North Carolina, served in the United States Marine Corps 20 years, deployed to Guantanamo Bay, Japan, Germany, Greece, Iraq, Afghanistan. You were one busy man. Thank you, sir. Injuries, had back and spinal cord injuries, along with PTSD. Combat awards, Bronze Star, 2 Meritorious Service Awards, 3 Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medals, along with many others. Their rifle sponsor tonight is Pioneer Natural Resources, Matt and Carrie Mathis. Next, Command Sergeant Major Emmanuel Valdez Jr., his wife Anita. They have 2 children. He's from Texas. He now lives in New Braunfels. Served in the Army for 30 years. Deployed to Operation Enduring Freedom. Has lower back injuries, PTSD, fragmented discs. His combat awards include 2 Bronze Stars, Army Commendation Medal, Iraq Campaign Medal, Marine Marksmanship, and many others. He's now retired. His rifle sponsors, ConocoPhillips, Brad McBrayer, and Heather Tash. And that, folks, is your class for 21. At this time, we've got a couple of them that need to take pictures with their sponsors. So I'm going to try real hard to buy a minute here until we can get that accomplished. Gary, are you good at ad-libbing right now? Want to introduce and welcome Gary Langford. Gary's not only helped us since we've started in a lot of other ways other than just being our auctioneer, he's helped so many other worthy causes in the Permian Basin. Anybody that calls on him for his help, he's always there to help, and he's always been a great part of our deal. Again, tradition. Everything we do is tradition. Once you decided to help, you're here forever. But you do such a great job. Again, we're just waiting on a couple of pictures so we can do the next deal. So Gary, if you've got a gift of gab for just a few seconds, let me check back.
Gift of gab I do not have, but we've been doing this. This is what, our 17th year? And if you have been here all 17 times, I want to see you stand up. Mr. Ellison, I'm going to start with you. Matthew. Cody, over there guided on the very first trip. The lights are in my eyes, I apologize. You know, there's quite a few that would have been here all 17 years, but when you think about, and when Chris was going through especially our World War II and Korean veterans, this may be the last banquet we didn't have a World War II veteran, but when we first started recognizing that generation, we would have 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're down to 0. We'd had more people that would have been here the 17 years. Chris, I think about your dad. Sally, your dad. Age, death. But the thing is, this is something that Terry started a long time ago. A lot of people jumped in. Terry has never asked anybody to do anything. People just show up and say, here's what I'm going to do. And that's how it rolls. We ready to escort people out, Terry? While we're here, Terry, board of directors, I want to see the board of directors stand up. Terry, come up here. Thank you so much for doing this, brother.
Hey, thank you.
You got it.
Thank you. No. Thank y'all so much. I guarantee we get as much in this room out of it than the folks we're trying to honor tonight, so it's being done for the right reasons. At this time, I would ask that the ROTC please pick up your couple, your hero couple, if you would, and escort them out to this side. Once we've got all the couples out here, we will wrap up our program in the very next few minutes.
Okay, sound guy. Oh, yeah, we have a hot mic right here. Okay, it's time to have a little fun. Yeah, we have a lot of fun. It's really neat for what these guys do and what's going to happen this weekend, but yeah, it costs money. And we've seen all of our sponsors here, but we're going to have a little bit of fun, and we're going to auction off 4 or 5 items, and we're going to get a little more money together here. First of all, we have a signed print that has become a tradition of show of support. It was signed by each one of our heroes and dated. It's become quite the collector's item. So we're going to start it off. Couple of things. We will take cash, checks, credit cards. We will invoice you. We will take IOUs. Just because you don't have money in your pocket, get your hand in the air. We'll figure it out as we go. Second of all, the lights are in my eyes. I cannot see. So I need some spotters around the room, yell and scream, okay? Because I'm deaf, I can't see, I'm old. I was young when we started this. Terry has that effect on me. Hey, I can see well enough. He's got effect on some of y'all out there too. And the other thing is, somebody remember who buys this stuff and how much you paid for it. Because that's above my pay grade. All Terry pays me to do, which is nothing, it's what I'm worth, is to talk fast and repeat myself. Words or having to remember how much, that's not part of the deal. All right, who's gonna give me a $500 bill on there, $500 bill on there, $500, who's gonna start $500 right there on there, $1,000, I have $500, need a $1,000 bidder, $1,000 right there, I need $1,500, need $1,500, $1,500, need $2,000, need $2,000, looking for $2,500 over here, got $2,000 up here, looking for $2,500. Who's gonna give me the $2,500 right there, give me three, got 25, there's $3,000, I need $3,500 out of me, Sean, $3,500, need $35, need $35, got $35. Hey, 4,000 over here, need 4,000, got 35, looking for 4. Who's gonna give me 4,000, need 4,000? There's 4,000 right there, need 4,500, need 45, got 45, need 5,000, need 5,000. 4,500 over there, looking for a $5,000 bidder. Who's gonna give me 5,000, got 45, looking for 5. I got 45, looking for 5. There's a $5,000 bidder, Sean, need 5,500, need 55. Give me 6,000, 55, 65, 7, 75, 8, 75 over here looking for an $8,000 bidder.
You didn't say a number.
It doesn't make any difference. I'll just name a number later. You just keep your hand going in the air. I got your back. 23,000 over here looking for 24,000. 8,500 over here looking for $9,000 bidder. I need 9,000, got 85 looking for 9. 85 looking for 9. Need 95. 10,000 little Frankie. 95, there's 10. 10,5. $10,000 bidder looking for 10,500. Got $10,000 bidder, need 10,500, got 10,500, got 10,000 over here looking for 10,500. Get 5. Got 10,000 over here going once. I got 10,000 going twice. Mr. Frankie Keller, thank you and congratulations, $10,000. Like many of us has been a part of this from day one. Thank you, Frankie. Now we have a patriotic eagle with a base. Don't fall over, you'll break a hip. That's real live bronze right there. Drop dead gorgeous. It'll look good in your man cave. Look even better in your she shed. Look really great. Thanksgiving Day is a centerpiece around your table. Stick with me for more decorating tips. We're going to sell it by the pound. We're going to go 10 cents a pound. I need a $1,000 bidder. Who's going to give me $1,000? Need a $1,000 bidder over here. Got 1,000 right there. Now I need 1,500. Need 1,500. Got 1,000 over 15. At 15 or 15 over. I need 2,000. Need 2,500. Need 25. Got 2,000 looking for 25. Need 3,000 over here. Got 25 looking for 3. Need $3,000 bidder. Got 2,500. Who's going to give me $3,000 right there? Need 3,500 over here. Need 35. 5,000. He said he's tired of playing. He wants 5,000. He got 5,000 right there. I need 5,500. I need 55. 6. 5,500 is 6,000. You want to just go 7,000? 7,000. 8,000? Yes. She said yes. It was in his ear for $8,000. Give me $9,000 over here. I got 8,000 looking for 9,000. Got an $8,000 bet. Who's going to give me a $9,000 bet? I got 8,000 looking for 9. Got 8,000 looking for 9. Who's going to give me 9,000? Got 8,000 looking for 9. Got 8,000 going once. I got 8,000 going twice. I'm trying to move so I can see who I got bidding. I still can't see. Sold it right here at $8,000. Congratulations. At the centerpiece on the dining room table and for the she shed. Now. We're going to do the bronze eagle. We're going to do the necklace. We're going to do the necklace. Right here, guys. Right here. See if we can get the camera up. There we go. We've got it on the screen. This is genuine silver and gold. It is drop dead gorgeous.
If anybody wants to see it personally, I'll bring it to you.
Vanna. Guys, right here is how you get well. I've been married 43 years and a half. I bought a lot of jewelry through those years. If you know me, you can understand why. She is an absolute drop-dead gorgeous goddess with a lot of jewelry.
I commiserate with that remark.
Terry understands what I'm talking about. Paula, yeah. $1,000 on the bet. I need $1,000 bet. I got 1,000 right there, and I need 2,000. Got 2,000 over here. Who's going to give me 3,000? 3,000. Got 2,000 up front looking for a $3,000 better. There's 3 right there. I got 4. You want 5? I got a $5,000 better right there. Now give me 6,000. I got 5,000 looking for 6. Who's going to give me $6,000? I got 5,000 over here looking for $6,000 bidder. 5,000 over here looking for 6,000. Who's going to give me 6,000? I got 5,000. Ooh, you fixing to go cheap right here. $5,000 going once. $5,000 going twice. I still hadn't figured out. I can't see you. Sold it for $5,000. Thank you and congratulations. Wayne, I thought that was you, but I wasn't sure I had the lights. Congratulations, Wayne. We have 2 more items. We have a bronze eagle. I'm waiting for him to pick it up. He will break a hip on that. But we have a bronze eagle and we have a motorcycle. So you have options. That's what we say is optionality on this. 2 eagles at $1,000 a piece. I just want $2,000 to get her started. Who's going to give me $2,000? I need $2,000. Better get her started. I need $2,000. Who's going to give me? Here's $2,000 right there. I need $2,500. Who's going to be $2,500? I got $2,000 over $25. $2,000 over $2,500. Better got $2,000 over $25. Who's going to give me $2,500? Got $2,000 over here. I need $2,500. I need $25. Who's going to give me $25? Got $2,000 right here. Looking for $25. I got $2,000. What do you think I am? Terry wants to know if I give him a decorating tip. Do you think I'm Chip or Joanna? No. Maybe the goat they have on the farm. That's about the best I can do. I got 2,000. Let me 2,500. I need 2,500. I got 2,000 over 25. Whoop. 25 right there. Now give me 3,000. I need 3,000. Got 3. Got 3. Give me 3,500. I need 35. Got 3. Looking for 35. He's going to 5,000. There's 35, that's 4,000. 4,000 right there, need 4,500, got 4,000, need 5,000 to you now. 5,000, got 45, looking for 5. 45, looking for 5. It's either this or the motorcycle. Name your poison. We got 45, looking for 5. We got 45, looking for 5. You got 5? No. 45, I got 45, right, Matthew? Got mad at 45, looking for $5,000 bidder. There's 5,000 right there. I got 5,000, need 5,500, need 55, got 5,000, looking for 55. Need 6,000, Mr. Smith. 5,500 over, I need 6,000. Who gave me 6,000? I got 55, looking for 6. I got 55, looking for 6. She said yes. Me and Sally, right here, right here. I got a $6,000 bidder, need 6,500. I got 6,000 over 65. I got 6,000 going once. What I want to know, are you going to cut them apart? Sally, you get one. Chris, you get the other one? Or, wait a minute. Chris, you get the Eagles. Sally gets the motorcycle. There we go. Sold it right here to Chris and Sally. Chris Smith and Sally Crunk for $6,000. Okay, let me tell you a little something about Miss Piggy. There we go. We're fixing to pull it over here. Miss Piggy is a 2001 Fat Boy. Full disclosure, she's a little bit used. She's only got just a hair over 90,000 miles on it, but that was only driven by a little old lady back and forth to church on Sundays. Church was a long ways away. It's a 6-speed transmission. The paint job on it, and this is a no kidding, it's an $11,000 paint job that's on this bike. This is something that you can put up and cherish. It comes to us donated by Sarah Wright with the Patriot Guard. Now, the winning bidder on this, at their option, will open the doors. We'll take it out in the parking lot at high speed. You can hit this ramp. We got the doors open over here, and we come all the way across the stage in the air. Your choice, either you can do it or Terry will do it. So whichever way you prefer, but yes, we have a little Evel Knievel jump set up right here, our last auction item. Paula is sure hoping you decide to buy it and you do it yourself. I just saw the look on her face because she knows Terry would just love to do it. Give me $2,000. Going to start out $2,000. I need $2,000 better. I need $2,000 better. Who's going to give me $2,000? There's $2,000 right there. Now give me $3,000. Get $3,000. Got 2 hours. $3,000. Need $4,000 better. Need $4,000. Got $3,000 right here. Just getting all choked up. Where am I? 3,000? Right. Got $3,000 better. Need a $4,000 better. Frank. Got $3,000 for $4,000. Who's gonna give me $4,000? $3,000 right here. Need a $4,000 better. I got $4,000 now. I need a $5,000 better. Need $5,000. Got $4,000 looking for $5. Got $4,000 looking for $5. There it is. There's my $5,000 bid. There's my $5,000. Now looking for $6. I got a $5,000 bidder. Who's gonna give me $6,000? Need $6,000. I got $5,000 up front. Need $6,000 bidder. $5,000 is done. Looking for $6. $5,000 is looking for $6. $6. Now I'm looking for a $7,000 bidder. Got a $6,000 bidder. Looking for $7,000. Got a $6,000 looking for $7,000. Do you want to take it across the stage, or is Terry going to jump it? I got a $6,000. 7. A 7 right there. Now I need 8. 9. $10,000 to you. $9,000 bidder. Need $10,000. Need $10,000 bidder. I got $9,000 looking for $10,000. One time. $9,000 bidder looking for $10,000 bidder. Got $9,000 looking for 10. Got a $9,000 bidder looking for 10. 11. No, you're in for 10. 11. $10,000 bidder up here. I got $10,000. I need $11,000 bidder. Take him off of. I got $10,000 bidder looking for 11. Got a $10,000 bidder looking for 11. When we dismiss here in just a few minutes after Pastor Bell, would you come on up and leads us in a word of prayer for Terry as he jumps this stage and to bless this weekend. Something that just kind of started organically 17 years ago. We got through with the program and nobody knew what to do, and just a couple of people got up, came up on the stage and started shaking hands of our heroes. I had to make it easier, so our heroes will be lined up in this North Hall. Please, when we get through, would you go out, would you shake their hand, tell them thank you. Be, like Greg said, show a lot of love there, because they don't know what to tell you. You don't know what to say to them other than thank you. They don't know the words to say back to you. They've been overwhelmed so far, but they haven't seen anything yet from the generosity of the Permian Basin people. Sold a motorcycle right there for $10,000. Roy, please take us home, brother.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Can y'all hear me? You ready to go? I'm going to do this and we're going to get out of here. There was a man once, his name was C.S. Lewis. He said he believed in Christianity like he believed in the sun rising. Not only because he saw it with his own eyes, but because only by it did he see anything else. And those men and women out there in the hallway ought to cause us to see life a little differently, to see things from a different perspective. I enjoy the freedoms that I enjoy because someone else paid the price. And I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, but don't leave here without understanding that someone else paid the price for you and I to be here tonight. Would you stand? If you'll bow and pray with me one more time, we'll dismiss with this prayer. Father, someone wrote a song a long time ago called God Bless America. The song was not written to be patriotic. It was written from a heart of gratitude. Irving Berlin was interviewed and he said this: I am thankful for America and the citizenry right within. Lord, America is still worth saving. Please help us. Help us not to lose our country due to the ungodliness of the leadership at this present time. Help us to find a way back to you, that these men and women who have fought, many have died. Many have been wounded like those that are here with us. Lord, don't let it be for vain. Help us to save our nation. And when we go to our various churches, we will raise our hands and we will give you the praise. God bless America to bless you. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you all for coming tonight.